Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, woman dead, 4 injured in St. Mary crash. A woman was killed and 4 others injured, including 3 minors, in St. Mary early this morning when the vehicle they were traveling in crashed into a concrete column. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Aldine McLagan of Grantstown in the parish, who succumbed to her injuries while undergoing treatment at hospital. The driver and the children were treated and released. All 5 are related. It is reported that around 2 a.m., a Toyota Axia motor car with 5 persons aboard was traveling from the Belfield Penn area towards the community of Wilderness along the Trinity Main Road when the driver reportedly lost the control of the vehicle, which crashed into a concrete column at the entrance of Toulouse Auto Parts. 5 persons, including the driver, were aboard the vehicle at the time of the incident. All occupants sustained injuries and were assisted to the Portemaria Hospital by passers-by, said Anthony Wallis, commanding officer for the St. Mary Police Division. One of the passengers succumbed to her injuries while undergoing treatment, while the others were treated and released. The police are urging motorists to exercise caution, especially at night, and to drive within the speed limit. At least 50,000 GPS customers left in the dark due to unusually strong winds. The Jamaica Public Service Company reports that approximately 50,000 of its customers, or roughly 7% of its total customer base, have experienced outages as a result of a quad line that struck the island on Monday afternoon. The weather event brought unusually strong winds, which the GPS says caused sporadic outages in several communities across Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and Manchester. It says its incident command center has been activated to manage the situation and facilitate a safe and swift restoration response. The Incident Command Center allows us to coordinate our response efforts, prioritize the most affected areas, and mobilize the necessary crews and equipment to get the job done, explains JPS's Senior VP Energy Delivery, Blaine Jarrett. Our emergency response teams are already carrying out a restoration where it is safe to do so, he says. Jarrett says more than 50% of the customers initially affected have already been restored. However, he adds that as the system continues to move across the island, more customers may lose supply. Our teams will continue to work to restore service as safely and as quickly as possible, he explained. JPS is urging members of the public to exercise caution, especially around the fallen wires, and to report outages or hazards using the GPS mobile app, website, or customer care center at 888-CALL-JPS, that's 888-225-5577. Woman pulled from plane sues government over passport and alleged rights breaches. A Jamaican businesswoman is suing the Minister of National Security and the Attorney General, alleging that her passport was unlawfully seized by immigration authorities and held for nearly 7 months without due process. Jacqueline Delia Thompson, who resides in the United States and regularly conducts business between both countries, filed the lawsuit in the Supreme Court on March 20. She is seeking declarations that her fundamental rights under the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms have been violated by the conduct of officers of the Passport Immigration and the Citizenship Agency, which operates under the authority of the Ministry of National Security. Thompson's claim names the Minister of National Security, Dr. Harris Chang, as the first defendant and the Attorney General of Jamaica as the second, arguing that the government's continued failure to return her passport, along with its lack of formal communication, amounts to serious constitutional breaches. A hearing was held in chambers last Monday before Justice Tracy Johnson. The matter has been set for mention again on July 1. It's understood that a defense has not yet been filed. According to court filings, the alleged violations stem from Pica's seizure and the continued detention of Thompson's passport on November 15, 2024, when she was removed from an aircraft at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. Thompson says she was instructed to report to Pica's Constant Spring Road headquarters in St. Andrew the same day, where her document was confiscated by a field officer. She said a receipt was issued. She insists her passport was valid, having been issued in January 2022. 3 days later, on November 18, Thompson said she returned to Pica for an interview, during which she was informed that a photograph resembling her had been linked to a previous passport application. She denies any knowledge of such an application and explained that her previous renewals were consistently done through the Jamaican consulate in New York. Despite this, Thompson argues Pica withheld the passport and allegedly provided no official communication or written explanation for the seizure or its continued detention. The businesswoman said repeated attempts to resolve the matter has been ignored. On November 29, she said she returned to Pica with her father to verify her identity and was told she would receive an update within days, but no further action was taken. She said her attorneys sent formal letters on January 9 and January 29, 2025, requesting a resolution, but received no reply. A hard copy of the second letter was hand-delivered on February 11, yet the passport remains in Pica's custody, according to court documents. On January 15, Thompson said she was informed by phone that a recommendation had been made for the return of her passport and was told to collect it. But when she visited Pica 2 days later, on January 17, the passport was not released. In her constitutional claim, Thompson is asking the Supreme Court to declare that her rights under Sections 13(3)(h)(n) and R and Section 16 of the Constitution were breached, to award damages for the constitutional violations, and to order Pica to immediately return the passport to her attorneys, among other remedies. The Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms guarantees several individual protections. Section 13(3)(h) protects against inhumane or inequitable treatment by public authorities. Section 13(3)(n) affirms a citizen's right to be granted a passport and not to be deprived of it except by due process, and Section 13(3)(r), along with Section 16, assures the right to fair and timely hearings before an impartial court. Thompson says she has suffered significant embarrassment, inconvenience, and financial loss due to the ordeal, including forfeited airfare, hotel expenses, and medical costs arising from her removal from the plane in full view of other passengers. The claimant has not been treated fairly by Pica and has not been afforded due process to justify the continued detention of the passport, the court documents argue, further describing the agency's conduct as arbitrary and lacking any lawful cause. No charges have been laid against Thompson in relation to the incident. Thompson is being represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and attorney Nico Pagan. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.